2021 and you're here watching a Free Friday class, it is of course something that we always provide to all the inner circle members, and we wanted you to know how we are teaching all of our classmates. And every Friday we invite all of you to actually join us. So if this is your first time, please try to check www.awesome10x.com and take a look at what we are offering for just 3,000 pesos a month. So, all right, today's class, a vertical takeoff. Do you want to take a ride? These are awesome 10X stocks that are rocketing to the moon. As you could see, we have eVTOLs and we have spaceships. This week is a continuation of a bullish month. So we bottomed out a couple of weeks ago, like specifically May 12th, May 13th, May 14th. And since then, we have seen the markets go up and up and up. And we are seeing that while other people are tempted to sell, they might actually park some of their shares into companies that are going to 10x over time. So let's give you some ideas. Some of the ideas that we believe are in these sectors. We've been saying that you want to add into SPACs, you want to add into space, you want to add into some bombed out warrants, you want to actually add some solars as part of your renewable.
Recording in progress.
You want to add into biotech, and you want to add into esports. So let's take a look at some of these companies and their charts. So you know that the SPACs or special purpose acquisition companies are actually not yet confirmed. Not all of them have actually merged. And special thanks to designer at Joey Zun makes it easy for us to pinpoint a few of these names. We already got news that the PSTH or the Bill Ackman SPAC is going to be Universal Music Group. If you're going to ask me, I'm underwhelmed with it, and the market also didn't like it. So upon announcement, PSTH actually tanked on that news. Kin or Oka is going to be an insurance, a home insurer. So Oka, I think with all the hype, with Gary Vee and Matt Higgins, I'd say that some people were not that happy that it was simply an insurer. Let me tell you a few things. Sports Radar, aka HZON, didn't actually materialize. Instead, Sports Radar decided to go traditional IPO. So these are the potential risks that when you're buying into a company, the announced merger doesn't fall through and it's actually just speculation. So until today, there's still speculation on whether B-Town is going to be Traveloka or Tokopedia Gojek. If you're going to ask me, I prefer B-Town to be Tokopedia and Gojek. However, there's no assurance on whether it's going to be B-Town Gojek or B-Town Traveloka. So I think some people are already saying that it's no longer that. That's why there is that no sign. B-Town is no longer Tokopedia and Gojek. I believe that Peter Thiel decided that it's going to be Traveloka. You are still seeing a lot of people actually under not happy or possibly dead the talks about Ariane Supersonic or an eVTOL coming out with AL2. So B-Town became Traveloka. You also have so many other companies. The BuzzFeed is going to be ENFA. There was also talks before of GNAC. So you're seeing that the SPACs are actually very difficult to foresee. And so some people are not necessarily buying the SPACs before it actually merged. Now, a few things that I'm taking a look at, take note of this one. There is a speculation, although it's caution. Byton is going to be in CCAC, VYGG for Reddit, ZNTE for Volocopter. So let's take a look at some of these SPACs. But basically, the SPACs momentum in this month, SPAC winter has been throwing, and actually I'm going to show to you the charts that are showing that movement. Why don't we watch the 50th minute of ACIC, aka Archer Aviation? This was just released last 24 hours ago. The 50th minute is actually amazing. So I'm gonna show to you what Archer Aviation is like. Let's watch. Actually, let's go watch the first, maybe 10 minutes. Start here.
And as electric propulsion has continued to advance, we are now enabling electric flight. And we are now on the cusp of a new golden age of aviation, something that we haven't seen in 100 years.
Today, half the world lives in cities, and the UN projects that by 2050, 70% of the world will live in cities. We just have an amazing amount of people living in cities. And in these cities, we live in 3 dimensions. We live in apartment buildings, and we go to work in skyscrapers. but we travel every day on the ground two-dimensionally. And ground infrastructure can no longer keep up with these populations. It's causing unprecedented congestion. We haven't seen transportation innovation for decades. We still travel around cities the same way we have for the last 50 or so years. And we are bandwidth constrained on the ground. And even moving to a fully electric automobile won't fix the traffic problems that we're seeing. We here at Archer want to unlock a new way of traveling, one that lives in the third dimension and has almost infinite scaling potential. Who hasn't sat in traffic wishing they could just fly over all of it?
Every new transportation solution has really changed the way we've lived. It's also transformed our cities. From the wheel to the train to the car, each innovation has allowed us to live just more freely and to travel further. Decades of advancements in electric power systems have enabled this electric revolution. And energy density in batteries have been steadily increasing over the past 20 years. This last decade, we saw cars become electrified. And now nearly every major auto OEM has announced a complete transformation to an entirely electric fleet. But as energy density continues to rise, we've now crossed the point where we can enable sustainable aerial mobility. In our lifetime, all forms of transportation will go electric.
So we took these advancements in electric power systems that Adam just talked about, and we used it to help fight traffic and sustainability by building an electric vertical takeoff and landing aircraft, or something called an eVTOL. Along this journey, we had to solve some really hard engineering problems. The first, we had to design an aircraft that could be used without a runway. So our aircraft takes off and lands vertically so we can fit them into the fabric of cities to make it easy for people to get to. We had to move from mechanical systems to fully digital. Most smaller aircraft today are still maneuvered around manually. We designed an entire aircraft to be controlled by software. In fact, Maker has over 90 components on it that run software on it today. We also needed batteries that could be safe in the air and also extremely power dense for our vertical takeoff and landing missions. We have enough power on board as an equivalent to a Tesla Model S Plaid, going from 0 to 60 in 1.9 seconds. These aren't your grandmother's batteries. People have made fun of the concept of electric aircraft. A major news outlet even asked us if this was an anti-gravity machine. I guess, kinda. We've solved these problems, it works, and we believe it will help change the world.
All right, so who's going to use this service? Well, we think everyone. And in order to have a real dent on sustainable transportation, we really had to make the service affordable for everybody. We want to impact everyday trips, trips to work, a weekend excursion, or even flying into the city, grabbing dinner, flying home. Let's talk about a couple examples. Let's say you live in Fort Lauderdale. You just got invited to the hottest tech party of the year, hosted by Mayor Suarez. You got to go to that. But that 23-mile drive can take you 70 minutes. That's just brutal sitting in traffic. We can fly that mission in under 14 minutes. Or let's say you're here in LA. You're in downtown. You want to go to Santa Monica, grab lunch. That 15-mile drive can take you almost an hour. We can fly that route in under 8 minutes. Because it's actually not that far, we can do it for under $40. There are millions of trips like this. People are taking them every single day. We can move those trips to the air and do it in a fully sustainable way.
All right, so here's a visual of trip data that's happening today in Los Angeles. There's over 50 million daily trips. And of this, over 5 million are taking over an hour. LA commuters are losing almost 100 hours per year stuck in traffic. Like, we need to solve this. Internally, we have a data science project that uses this trip data to better understand how to build the most ideal Archer network, making the service available to everyone. And we call this project Prime Radiant. We use Prime Radiant to better understand where to put takeoff and landing sites, what to charge for the service, and ultimately how to save people time in their commute. For takeoff and landing sites, we're using existing real estate with light retrofitting. That includes helipads and others such as rooftops, land parcels, and parking lots. We get excited not just about the trips we're seeing here, to and from work, to the airport and back, but how about all the trips that we can't do today because they're taking too long to do in a car?
So what Brett's talking about are these urban air mobility missions, right? Your commuting trips. But we think there's actually a broader purpose here. What about all the trips that you wish you could take, but you just don't because they're too far? Imagine you could go anywhere within a 50-mile radius. Where would you go? What if you could go rock climbing on a Thursday in a remote area? Just go after work. Would you go? To get there in just a couple minutes? Or what if there was an amazing restaurant on top of a mountain and you could fly there in just a couple minutes and it just had incredible views? Today, we're really just limited in our ability to explore because of these time constraints. But this transportation solution, it just goes beyond commuting. Humans are naturally curious. Archer is using technology to help people break away from the screens, really just get back in touch with nature. Archer will connect people with the experiences that they want to have, get them out of that daily grind. This is the era of the micro explorer. All right, this is Maker. What do you think? So Maker is our full-scale, two-passenger demonstrator aircraft. And its purpose is to serve as a certification test bed and also to help us keep pushing our key enabling technologies. So this aircraft is a result of a really large group of people that have come together across many different disciplines, including flight physics and avionics and structures and many others. And we're so excited to show you the vehicle here today. So let's talk through a couple of those key engineering features that will enable the urban air mobility market.
Maker was engineered from the ground up for the urban traveler. This means designing a new aircraft that can fit into the fabric of cities. In order to do this, we had to design an aircraft for record safety and low noise. We also wanted to make sure that this was a service that everybody could access, which means it needed to be a high throughput network. From a vehicle engineering perspective, a big enabler for us is distributed electric propulsion. Instead of using big turbine or piston engines, which are extremely complex, we are using electric motors, which are much simpler and more energy efficient. Electric motors can be scaled down to enable a new type of aircraft to be built, one that has many motors and high energy efficiency. What we were doing here could have never been possible before. As we designed the aircraft, safety was our #1 goal. First, distributed electric propulsion allows us to design in multiple redundant electric motors. We no longer have a single motor that's powering flight. Maker has 6 independent battery packs that power 12 electric motors. These motors are distributed laterally across the aircraft wing, as you can see here. During flight, we can tolerate an entire battery pack system failure or 2 motor failures and still fly the mission safely. In fact, Maker has 0 single points of failure. For comparison, most helicopters have hundreds of these single points of failure. Let's talk a little bit about noise. Our aircraft will be operated directly overhead, so it's important that we do not disturb our local neighbors. Helicopter noise is simply too loud today to make helicopters work in a real way across cities. Majority of noise generated from a helicopter come from high rotor tip speeds. The blades on the helicopter are traveling close to 450 miles an hour. Since we are spinning 12 rotors that are much smaller, we can spin them slower, resulting in lower tip speed and much different nose profile, much lower noise. We have designed the propellers on the aircraft specifically for low noise. The propellers spin at low tip speeds, virtually eliminating the loud wop-wop sound that we associate with helicopters today. And during flight, we're going to be traveling at 2,000 feet above ground level. And just for a bit of a comparison versus a helicopter, we'll be traveling at that altitude at 100 times quieter than a helicopter. This is similar to the sound of a refrigerator running. We'll be virtually inaudible in flight. Yeah. And lastly, is we want everyone to have access to our service, which means we need to design a high throughput transportation network. And what that means is we need to travel fast and we need to use the vehicles a lot during the day. Maker's designed at travel speeds of 150 miles an hour or more. We are designing for nominal missions between 20 and 40 miles, and we designed a long-range battery that was capable of much more than this, so we don't have to fully charge after every trip. For our flights, we'll be using around 30% of our battery pack. And the battery is meant to be fast charged while on the ground, which means it only takes about 10 minutes to charge enough before it's ready for the next flight. That means that the Archer aircraft can do over 40 flights per day. This will help unlock a high throughput transportation system for the masses. Adam, can you talk a little bit about how people are going to interact with the aircraft?
Yeah, so when we designed Maker, we thought about the urban traveler. How do we give them an experience that they're going to love? So we thought about, maybe they have a backpack, maybe they have a full set of luggage coming back from a weekend excursion, or maybe they just have a coffee. And so we wanted to work the vehicle into their everyday life and really just give them an experience that'll blow them away. Brett, why don't we pop the doors and have them take a look inside?
Let's do it.
All right, so the first thing you notice is we have gull wing doors. Definitely the most badass kind of doors you could put on any aircraft. There's also a high wing. We did that because we wanted to make the aircraft really approachable. We wanted to make it have this sense of safety and comfort as you walk towards it. Right? So why don't we head on towards the back here. So let's say you're coming back from a weekend trip. There's plenty of room here for a full set of luggage. You could push it right in. Plenty of room, no problem. But Brett, why don't we hop inside? So it's actually super comfortable. And for those of you that are here, we want to invite you guys down after the show to come sit and see for yourself. But these are performance seats, really unmatched to anything in aviation. And there's plenty of leg room. Brett, how tall are you?
About 6 foot tall.
Brett's about 6'2". He's modest. So if you stretch out, plenty of room, no problem fitting in here. And you could easily fit a bag, maybe even 2 bags. When you sit back, you can see there is a 270-degree wraparound viewing area. We wanted to let you sit back, take it all in, have fun, enjoy the flight, really get to experience that you're flying over everything. You'll also see at the very front of the aircraft, there's actually no flight controls in Maker. And that's because Maker is an autonomous aircraft, even though the aircraft we will bring to market will be piloted. There's also a touchscreen at the front of the aircraft that will give all the key relevant metrics that we could need. Pre-flight check-ins, airspeed, distance to our destination, or even if your ground transportation is there waiting for you. When we designed Maker, we took an automotive approach to noise, vibration, and harshness. We wanted the ride quality to be really smooth, really quiet cabin. We also designed our flight controls to make sure we could have a really stable, smooth flight from start to beginning.
I have to fast the speed until the 50th minute where they unveil what they've done. I had to show you everything because it's such a great experience.
We wanted to bring this to life for everybody here today. So we built a flight simulator to walk you through the journey of what it's going to be like using the Archer network in your everyday lives. Do you want to go take a ride?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
All right, here we go.
Guys, day through. I mean, it's a product launch. They wrote the eVTOL.
Brett, isn't it going to be amazing when you fly like this? I mean, just the amount of possibilities that open up here.
I mean,
it's pretty cool.
Years of hard engineering work has gotten us here. We have, certification and manufacturing as we're gearing up, and really excited to think about making this an everyday use case for everybody in the world.
Yeah, I mean, just looking out the window and just the perspective that you get as you fly over it all, it makes traveling fun. And, it just, I think about the 2D ground transportation grid that was built, right? It's pretty limiting. It's really tough to scale, but we can fly over it all in a straight line, 150 miles per hour. It opens up the amount of possibilities considerably.
Yeah, I mean, if you look back the last 100 years, every new transportation solution we had that made us move faster allowed us to access new places we couldn't have otherwise before. So as we move from horse and buggy to the car, now we can drive to further places than ever before. And now as we're flying in the air, 150 miles an hour, point to point, we'll be able to access new locations that we otherwise couldn't have on the ground in a car. And so we get really excited about how people are going to interact now with cities and beyond.
Yeah, and the way that cities have really kind of come together, they're very polycentric. You have these mini city centers that are inside these larger cities. So take Los Angeles, for example. We're here in Hawthorne, but there's big communities in Santa Monica, and then in Pasadena, and then in Orange County, right? You have millions of people in each of these little mini city centers, and they want to connect with each other. They want to be able to move back and forth, but right now, it's quite limiting.
I mean, the ground infrastructure in these cities is basically intrinsically limited by the architecture itself. If we think about a tunnel or subway, every new stop.
Basically, to wrap it up, eVTOLs are your future. They're going to replace all of your addressable market, meaning your trips, your transportation. They could be the Tesla, Uber, Lyft competitors. Not necessarily a killer. I'd say that they're a complement throughout the transportation and mobility of every American and hopefully the world. So that is an amazing company. You want to actually check it out from Maker Unveil event. Just check it out yourself. It's actually a worthy 1 hour of your time. Let's take a look. Archer Aviation unveils their electric vertical takeoff landing from Forbes. You've got a lot of interesting insights, and it's actually showing to you that the entire sector is hot. So EHang, you know this from China, EHang 216 got their FFA approval from Japan. And we actually were a buyer on that 80% drop. If you have been watching our classes, we've been giving a buy on 21 and 22 very massively, especially when it bottomed out here very clearly during May 14. And then that continued onwards till June. We triggered that $29, $30 resistance to be a new support. So far, there are resistances here at 41. However, any drops of EHang here at $30 is going to be a buy. So we are seeing that the entire eVTOL sector is not going to benefit only America, but all throughout the world. So there are several winners in the eVTOL space, just as there are several winners in the electric vehicle space. So it's better to actually understand that there are many engineers. This is an engineering feat, and you have to be lauding all of these great people who have made it for all of us to enjoy. A few things to understand. This is ACIC warrants. Take note that from $1, it's now trading near $2. I'm not surprised that this could even go $3 for a 3x move from the lows. So for those who got in on ACIC warrants, I think they're very happy. This allows them to buy ACIC shares at $11.50. In fact, right now, the warrants are more expensive rather than the ACIC shares. So some people who find the warrants quite high because it's already up 100% can also buy the ACIC stock because the stock is still at the $10 zone. I'm going to show to you the differences, guys, between the warrants and the stock. The stock itself is still at $10. The warrants is actually supposedly allowing you to buy ACIC shares at 11.5. Now, you might be wondering, why are people buying up the warrants? It's because usually the warrants move 500% higher or 800% higher versus the stock. So there's a huge correlation, and most of the leverage comes into the warrants because this is a 5-year option, in which case you could buy ACIC at 11.5. So it doesn't make you actually pay yet until the shares are actually worthy of value, and people are considering the warrants as call options. It is a call option. Okay, so UAVs is not necessarily an eVTOL, but also part of the drone sector. Every time we see advancements in the sector, we notice that EHang is also doing not just passenger transportation, but also goods transportation. So far, we've seen Dragontail Systems actually have a partnership already from Australia to deliver all those Pizza Huts, right? So Yum Brands Pizza Huts is partnered with Dragontail Systems. This is in Australia, a drone company. Take note that UAVs has tried to partner with Amazon, but no relationship yet. So far, Walmart and Zipline are partnered. We argue that over the next coming years, whether it be Amazon or some other e-commerce company, we do believe that UAVs is something that is worthy and valuable, especially here at about $5 or even less. So the lower, the better. Of course, the bottom here is $4. With the eVTOLs rising, the sector is likely to go higher than lower. Take a look at some names. This is impossible. This is Astro Aerospace, also a part of the eVTOL, also trading at $2.75. This is still in the OTC market. You could see that it's an over-the-counter. It's not yet listed in NASDAQ. We continue to believe in Astro Aerospace. Who is the owner of Astro Aerospace? Nothing less than Northrop. So let me show to you Astro Aerospace, just a picture with Northrop, which is actually doing a lot of your spaceships. Northrop Grumman, Astro Aerospace. So you could see it in the YouTube videos. I'll show to you some images. Not sure if they showed it here. Okay, this one. So they all look kind of the same. This is a component of the Northrop Grumman, Astro Aerospace. It's a one-passenger thing. But you're seeing that there are as much as 50 to 100 eVTOLs already in the market. So this is one of those that are listed. This is in OTC market. Take a look at it. Well, it's $2.75. This is still actually very less than $1 billion company. Take a look at Kel warrants as well. Everyone knows that Kel, aka Lilium, is far in the advanced stage. If there's like a 2023 commercial flights from Europe, it's gonna be Lilium, aka the German operator, headed by Daniel Weingart. I also believe in this company. We talked about this with a deep dive in our inner circle. So this is more of a surface review if you're not aware of the company. Cal acquisition here about 160 in my view is going to go double. So from 120, can it go to $2 and $3? Yes, indeed. So you're seeing actually that most of these pack warrants at about $1.20 or $1.10 is getting a lot of love. So it's the same thing with ACIC. Cal is going to merge with Lilium within this year. Some people are buying it below 10. Some people are buying the warrants since the warrants can move further rather than the stock. So over time, if the warrants have already doubled or tripled, perhaps Kel staying at $10 is a buying zone. So, but in the short term, I'd say that the rocket ship is the warrants, buying Kel warrants. RTP. RTP warrants are also expected to go up. This is Joby Aviation. It's a $6.6 billion company with big partners such as Toyota, Uber, and the like. So in fact, this is the likelihood of Uber's future, which is their flying air taxi. RTP is also funded by the Airbnbs, the guys from Airbnb, the early founder, Reid Hoffman, sorry. Mark Pincus and Reid Hoffman. So this is their SPAC, Special Purpose Acquisition. Take note of the RTP, it's also at $10. But if you take a look at the warrants, it's already moving up double, nearing double, from about $1.30 now trading at $2.20, close to $2.60. This is why we believe that the winter SPAC is stalling. It's very evident in the warrant space. Very low volume, but actually higher highs and higher lows, showing to us that this is an uptrend all the way to about $3 to $4. ZNTE warrants is a play on Volocopter. Volocopter is also one of the best SPACs, if ever. The problem why people aren't very much willing to buy is because they're scared that it could be delayed. For instance, the AGC, aka Grab merger, is delayed to fourth quarter. So if you're a short-term client, you might actually be thinking, is it really gonna merge? But since we see that the downside is priced in after from $4 to $1, I'd say that the leeway for these to go up is higher than lower. And so Awesome10X believes that all of these eVTOL SPAC warrants are a buy, especially if you can buy it near the lows, especially if you're just buying it 20% above the lows. So for instance, ZNTE is now 139. If you can buy it at 120, even better. The question is, could you even buy it at 1.2? Now, LGL Systems, what is this? Also reported SPAC. I'm showing to you that this SPAC is also in the eVTOL scenario, 1 to 180. So you're seeing actually that in the eVTOL SPAC warrants, people are buying it. It shows you that there is demand for the eVTOL stock in itself. L2 warrant below 1. Why? Because this supposedly was Boeing's Arion that that didn't happen. There are, of course, talks right now of a new SPAC eVTOL as well. It's going to be Vista Global. But when people are not sure if you have a real target, you can get sold down all the way. So L2 warrants, just to show to you how a SPAC moves if the warrant or the SPAC doesn't merge, it can crater. So that's the risk. If you're buying it at $1, $1.20, sometimes those people who got in here are murdered, in this case murdered, because there was no merger in place. A few things to understand about the SPAC warrants as well. You've been hearing about meme stocks targeting high short float. SPACs have also a high short float. And the way to understand isn't just simply the percentage, but also the days to cover. When you've got more days to cover, it means that the volume of shares that are being traded at AGC is very small versus the number of shares that are short. If it takes you 7 days or almost a week, more than a week to cover your shares, it gives you leeway to see that AGC can be pumped if a squeeze were to occur. Now, I'd argue that fundamentally the reason why there's a huge short float in AGC has to do with the fact that there is a delay. But if you're believing that Grab is a great company, then there might be a squeeze in the future. So what are we doing with our AGC? Let me show you what's happening with AGC warrants. AGC warrants are actually trading right now at about $3.30. Let me show you AGC warrants. Altimeter growth warrants. Wait, I'll just type AGCW. So AGC warrants are now trading at about 330 to 340. You'll notice that even if there was a delay, nobody was actually panicking. So you're seeing actually, in my view, an accumulation here, even if it lasts in the next September or October. They say that it's gonna merge in the last quarter of the year. It could be October, November, December, I don't know, but it's gonna be within that zone. Whether $3 is gonna break down, it depends on whether the stock is also gonna break below 11. Take note that AGC has never gone back to 10 ever since announcement that AGC is partnering and merging with Grab. People believe in Brad Stone. Altimeter is Brad. Oh, what's his name again? Brad something. Wait, Brad Gerstner. There, Brad Gerstner. So because they believe in the management, and with Anthony Tan and Huiling Tan, people are actually willing to wait it out. For those who have brand name recognition, I do believe that they aren't going to go back to 10, which means that those who want to buy this pack can rocket to the moon. Perhaps it's a little bit delayed, but because of that high short float, it makes me also aware that, hey, this could go 10, 12, from 11 to 13, and the SPACs would actually follow suit. The warrants will also follow suit. A few things to note, CCIV, which is Lucid Motors, has also been rising. You've got ACTC, that is Proterra. VIH is a back, that is VAKKT, which is crypto. SRAC, which is Momentus, has been rising these past few days. PPGY short happened because of a delay with EV Box. In this particular chart, I'm telling you that the warrants that will rise here, CCIV, AGC, SRAC, ACTC, PPGY, eventually. VJAC, Kappa is already going up. I'm not really interested with BAOX. BAOX is WeWork. SNTR is reported to be Volta, a charging station. Right now, I'm telling everyone that the delays are actually an opportunity to buy. So this got delayed. You'll notice that from about $15, it went down to as low as $10 because of that delay. Slowly, people are actually picking it up at about $12.80. That's the shares. How about the warrants? Let me show you that any drops of the warrants could actually be a potential buying entry. Here at $2, it already rose at 3. Any dips near 2 should be in your considerable buy list. Okay, let's take a look at more ideas. SRAC. Actually, you know that the space stocks have been rising. SRAC warrants are not an exception. Instead of a stable road, this is actually the high road. Take note that SRAC went from as low as from $12 all the way to $2. We are seeing these names go 20, 50% in a single day. In just 3 days, since Jeff Bezos announced that he's going to go to space next July, notice that the SPAC warrant went from $2 all the way to nearing 4 or 100%. I'd say that any dips near 3, there is a definitive buyer. So SRAC warrants definitely should be part of your buy list. Is that the only SPAC warrant that is getting a lot of buying? Nope, not just that. You're seeing that all the space-related names are actually getting a lot of love. $10 to $12 for Holy City. Yes, that's the SPAC. But how about the warrant? Holy City is your warrants for Astra. That is already Chris Camp, already definitively merging. So with high confidence of the mergers, people are willing to buy. Take note, 100% up from $1.50 close to $3. That's just proof to you that SPAC warrants have indeed thawed. 100% in 3 days is something that is not a bear market. It is what a bull market is. This is where money flow has been going into. Holy City warrants, ASTS, you already saw the movement from about $7 all the way to $13, nearing 100% for the stock. How about the warrant? ASTS warrants actually moved from about $2 all the way to $4.50, going down here about $3.70. Again, this is going to be bought at $3. So space warrants are actually very profitable. You want to actually be in the action. As for THCB, that already changed to Indie Semiconductor. I'm going to show you what's been happening on the companies that have been changing names. VGAC is your 23andMe from 10 to 11. Is that the only time that we saw these moves? Nope. We've been saying that since, actually, if you were a part of the class, we've been saying in the inner circle since May 31 why we believe the SPAC winter is falling. And we were taking a look at all the companies changing names and actually getting bought. This is CLII, also known as EVgo, from about $11 rising to $14.48. A small profit taking and then another buy-in. So you're seeing that people are willing to buy. Stick went to BART. Take note what happened, 10 to 11, 12, and rallying all the way to $13. That movement is showing to you that people are willing to buy the warrants as well. Had you bought the warrants of original BART, it would have gone from $2 all the way to $4 or more than 100%. So definitely because of high upside and very low downside, everyone is taking into consideration a lot of SPACs, warrants especially. All right, so Kappa is Quantum C, another semiconductor company. Take a look at it as well. Kappa is Quantum C. Quantum Semiconductor, I'm not sure if it already changed. Not sure. Did they change? Not sure about their new ticker symbol. I'm not sure if this is it. Quantum C, high Cape Capital. So not yet trading, perhaps tonight. Quantum C, I think that is it. Let me see the warrants. Oops, sorry, QSI. Not being traded. So we'll see later on. Okay. This is also a good review for you. Take note at SPAC Hero, very useful guide. Take a look at the gainers these days. Top 10 warrant gainers are rising 30% to 80%. Now, while there are losers, 15 to 20% in a single day, we note that these have been doing drops because of a profit taking that was so big. Let me show you what happened to App Harvest warrants as well. App Harvest went from $11 to about $20 these past few days. The warrants went from $3 to $9 or times 3. The drop might be big, but when you take a look at the context, it's actually significantly just a profit taking. So I'm taking a look as well on the volume leaders. You probably know that Clover Health got squeezed, right? So let me just show you that if this happened to the stock, Clover Health went from $6 to $28, falling down to $14. Obviously, the warrants ballooned and actually supermoon. Take note, the warrants went from $2 to 17, over almost 10x in less than a month. So those things are squeeze and SPAC warrants. You really generally can get a big move if you're buying near the lows. Those who got in on Clover Health warrants have a big bazooka win in that span of a week or 2 weeks. So you have to pay attention to those movements. There is a probability that the Chamath SPACs are going to go up. Take note that Open Door is getting a lot of buyers. Take note from $14 to $18. If you're more risk taker, take a look at the Open Door warrants. So Open Door warrants are now trading from $3 to $6. Can it go to $9 or $10? Potential. If a squeeze happens, it's possible because real estate is also fundamentally strong. If you take a look at the numbers from Zillow, Redfin, and Open Door, it's been doing well. So after this bombed out meme, the opportunities are on the upside. Why are we confident on our calls? It's the same thing when we made a call to buy FUV here about $7, $8. After an 80% drop, kaboom, squeeze after a high short interest. And so the more short interest in the SPACs, and it's evident that there is, it tells you that the big money, the big upside is in actually buying a lot of these warrants. Take note, high volume happening right now in KEL warrants. So for those wondering, hey, I want to buy a warrant, are there interesting names that haven't gone up? Since we like eVTOL as a sector and we like KEL, especially the management, we like Daniel Weingard, this tonight is a buying opportunity. At 158 and 159, we do think this goes to $2 or $3. Put this in your buy list tonight. Okay, some more ideas for you. As I said, you can go to SPAC Hero. Inside SPAC Hero, I checked, there's about more than 300 SPAC warrants that are all trading below $1. In this particular filter screen, I noticed that HUG's warrant is trading at 98 cents. You've got, let me give you some ideas that are below $1. These are my $1 below warrant buys. NOAC warrants, I want you to accumulate it 75 cents below. If you're watching this show for the first time, you know that NOAC warrant is speculated to be a plant-based sustainable play. No merger yet, but the people behind NOAC warrants are the same people who invested in Impossible Foods, the ones that actually fought with Beyond Meat. Now, it's not possible, perhaps, that NOAC warrants is going to be Impossible Foods, given that Impossible Foods already vehemently said no to an IPO or a SPAC. Nonetheless, I do think that people are buying this, especially at these low levels. When it's 70 cents already, the downside is very small, the upside is very huge. So this is possibly a good buying opportunity since there's no announced merger yet. I'm going to give you another idea. Better World acquisition. This is also a sustainable food security play and a plant-based SPAC acquisition. Undetermined target. There have been interviews with Rose Ripley. We don't know yet what she's going to be announcing to us, But again, take a look. It's just below $1. If you're wrong, it goes 75 cents. If you're right, it goes $2. The risk reward in these cases are good. There's a question. Is there a class on how warrants work? Can we choose not to exercise this like options? Warrants work, at the very least, these are 5 years in the making. So this is until 2025. In terms of time expiration date, none of it matters because it's 5 years in the making. The warrants do not have to be bought because it's 5 years in the making. You don't need to exercise it. Majority of the people who are buying warrants are not really interested to redeem it into an $11.50 stock. For example, your warrant allows you to buy the stock at 11.5. Why will you do it when the stock right now is at $10? Definitely, the warrants are moving now based on leverage, and the warrants are moving now based on just an assumption that the warrants is going to be of value in the next 5 years. So take it as a trade because these SPACs are moving 100% or more, sometimes 1,000% if you get the squeeze like Clover Health did. These are trading ideas. Very low downside, but very high upside. Natural order, I'm giving you a potential upside of about 70% for this name. Hugs acquisition is very important. I've been telling you that Hugs, aka the USGH, this is USHG, this is the SPAC of Danny Mayer, Shake Shack. So at 98 cents, below $1, this is something that is high value. The downside is 70 cents. Why did I show you the warrant of Altu? So that you know the bottom. Even if you don't have a merger in place, the bottom has always been stopped at 75 cents, at least for these types. So from 70 cents to $1, this is an accumulation zone. If you get in very cheap, your downside is small. You can wait 5 months, 6 months until they announce. And I believe they will announce within the year end. They're not knowing how Danny Mayer's company always looks for restaurants. It's possible that USHG, Union Square, is going to be a SPAC on the restaurant reopening play, which is something that I also want in my portfolio. Shark Tank, let me take a look, talk to you about high-profile CEOs that are heading SPACs. One of the high-profile CEOs is Shark Tank Judge SPAC, which is Matt Higgins. Matt Higgins already has Oka SPAC. He merged this with an insurer, a home insurer for $1 billion. This is Oka warrant. This is going to be a home insurer. Now take note that if even at 77 cents, it goes to 90 cents, just to prove to you that indeed 70, 80 cents is the bottom of most SPACs if they didn't merge. If they already have a merger and if they change a name, pattern recognition tells you these are going to double. So at the very least, this goes to $1.20 or $1.50. When you see an upside of 20 to 50%, you should actually take it because these are low risk, high upside. That's why we feel that these are the rockets to the moon of your portfolio. Now, I talked about Open Door because even the biggest, most successful real estate investors are not really afraid of what you call inflation. You can take a look at this article from Bloomberg, The Big Take, what the world's most successful real estate investor is buying. It's a booming property market. Take a look at this. Blackstone is actually buying a lot of real estate. Therefore, Open Door, Redfin, and Zillow, while they're low, are actually buying opportunities. So Blackstone Group has some advice for investors looking to make sense of the wild real estate. Do not fear a bust anytime soon. If you're thinking in the next 6 months or 12 months, home prices have surged the most since 2005. Cheap mortgages are encouraging buyers towards new homes. Building costs are spiking because of the rising prices for raw materials. At the same time, a worker shortage means new construction is failing to keep up with soaring demand. In commercial real estate, the wider acceptance of remote work is threatening to decimate office properties. This is something that we discussed very well in the home and migration class inside Inner Circle, wherein we were favoring a lot of construction builders like KB Homes. We're also saying that home platforms such as Zillow is actually a very good way to make money on this real estate market. Open Door is the same thing. GHBI is also the same thing because Matterport is a SPAC that helps real estate encourage buyers to see the property even if they're just virtual. So Open Door Technologies are about $6 already from 4 to 6, already 50% higher since May. If you are really the person who wants your portfolio to rocket ship to the moon, these are the kinds of stock picks that you are doing in your portfolio. This is another thing that I want you to know. You probably heard about Forest Road because of Kevin Mayer. Kevin Mayer was the prior CEO of TikTok, and he was also the an executive of Disney. FRX merged with Beachbody. Now, you might say that Beachbody is something that you're not quite interested upon, but Beachbody has to do with reopening. What exactly is Beachbody? Let me read to you. The Beachbody SPAC, on-demand, streaming Beachbody workouts anytime. The owner, trademarks, and all. So it's like a competition for Peloton-like stuff. Beachbody Company. All right, let's take a look at that. This is Forest Road. The CEO is Kevin Mayer, the world's greatest gym right in your home. Lose up to 9 pounds in 14 days with Beachbody, a community that's 2.5 million users strong. So basically, it has to do with the fitness trends, online fitness trends, similar to Peloton. Okay, I'd say that because you've got Shaquille O'Neal as part of the board, this might actually be a strong SPAC, which is why people are already buying the warrants. Take note, the warrants have gone from $2 to as much as $3.50, dropped about $2.70. These are what we know as celebrity-backed SPACs, telling you that the celebrity-backed SPACs are also now thawing. The winter is thawing. And so these SPAC warrants are telling me, hey, your portfolio needs SPAC warrants. Bridgetown, because I believe in Peter Thiel, one of the famous celebrity-backed SPACs, here about $1.77, we are already seeing a bottoming out process at $2.10. It could go $5 and beyond. Bridgetown is expected to merge with Traveloka, also a reopening play. AST Space Mobile, I said that the SPAC warrants is jumping up to the moon from $2 to $4.50. Any dips is a buying opportunity. Another SPAC to tell you, SPAC Churchill Capital merged with Skillstock. Let me tell you what's been happening. When a merger is announced, and this happened, these things happen from 1.4 to 2.8, 100% up. So what does it mean? Your money parked at these levels, if you're buying near the lows, has 100% upside while waiting. This is why you do not need to time the market. If you buy low with a huge margin of safety, you're going to make money even if you spray and pray with many SPACs, especially if you're buying those that have announced mergers. Why are we so confident with AACQ? Not only do we like Origin Materials, the company that they are merging with, AACQ is also near $2. So before this announcement, I've been buying already AACQ warrants from about $190. So right now it's already trading $230, but I'd say that $190 or $2 can lift up as high as $3 or even $4. So these are all buys. So we've been buying since June or May 30s. Yeah. So been seeing that there are movement. These are also some interesting SPAC warrants. XPOA is actually very interesting for me. This has to do with Jam City, a company in the gaming space. Take note, here about $1.20, very low downside, very high upside. Want to enter this. You want to enter the names that have mergers and announced already. So Kel warrants. Amongst these names, I prefer personally AACQ, XPOA, MAAC, Kel, RAAC. So there are also, of course, Soaring Eagle from the DraftKings and the Skills Management. You've got HTIC, which is going to be a self-driving vehicle. You've got Star Peak with the STEM group. And GAC, I forgot who did this, but I think it's also in the EV space. And the Reinvent Technology Partners has to do with the celebrity-backed CEO, the founders, the PIPE investors, your Reid Hoffman guys. What happened to companies that changed name? Fiserv changed to Catapult. Before it went change name, the stock price already catapulted, same as the warrants. 80% catapult in the same month. Silver spiked as well. 70% up just from a change in name to Weed Maps. These are all changing name this June. Next month is going to be Aero Farms, July. So that's why Spring Valley AR is going to be ARFM. So far, it's been rallying 25%. And why we feel that this is going to double or 100% in the next month. From 85 cents, you can go $1.70 or $1.80. My bet is a yes. I'm already loaded with Spring Valley. I'm just here, yes, talking my books, but I also believe that I'm talking my books because my hit ratio is good. This is still going to continue higher. MAC, MAAC is going to join with biotech firm. Why am I sharing this? Because recently we're seeing biotech stocks go up. The money flow is going to biotech stocks. Take note that MAC from 80 cents is now 140. If biotech stocks right now are very hot, especially after the Biogen Alzheimer's drug, I sure think that these could go as high as double. So 80 cents to 160. You might not like the risk reward because it's already a gap up, but take a look at biotech space SPACs. In terms of biotech SPACs, we talked about, in terms of companies that we believe upon, automation by Berkshire Grey is wonderful. Who knows about RAC? Everyone who's a Chamat SPAC fan knows about RAC. Chamat SPAC has been doing well. The SoFi did well, Clover Health did well. Who am I to say that RAC isn't gonna do well? Berkshire Grey already did well. In fact, 160 to 220. Can it go to 320? The answer is yes. Now, you're seeing me talk about the warrants. How about the SPAC stock? They're actually right now at $10. RAC is just at $10, 10.02. So far, the stock hasn't moved. The warrants moved first. It is very possible that at some point in time, maybe next month, that the stocks will actually go from 10 to 12, 11, 13. So if you want to speculate that the warrants that have rose 100% and the stock that hasn't moved is going to go up, you can. Especially when I said that I like Archer Aviation, I like Spring Farms, I like Spring Valley, which is Aero Farms. It's possible, guys, that when the warrants have gone up, first, the next to move as a sympathy play is the stock, meaning 10 can go 11 and 12. So in case you want 20% moves that are high probability, if you wait, yes, you can buy the SPAC stock. But I'd say, personally, I'm buying the warrants. So the RAC warrants have been going up. Gores Holdings, I said, is going up. So as part of the real estate play, so far $3 to $5. Any dips are considered buying the dip. I'd like to tell you that a lot of people, of course, talked about renewable. Everything's going to be electric. And when everything is electric, that means every home is also solar. And therefore, a very huge opportunity, guys. After a 60% slide from SunPower's 57 all the way to $20, we are seeing a rise of at least 76% from the lows. Those who have it at 20, we think this is going to go at least to 36. And if you're buying tonight at 26, you've got a $10 upside. This is still a buy the dip for you or buy at the market. SunPower is a buy. Take a look at that volume. Whenever we see that volume in a bullish signal like that, we always saw a 90% probability that it goes up rather than goes down. Let's take a look at some names. Arya, I said biotech is getting some love. Arya is going to change their name to Nautilus Biotech. This is a celebrity-backed investor by Jeff Bezos. And you've got luminaries in their CEOs. This is Sujit Patel. You can actually try to watch this video, find it in YouTube. $2.5 billion exit entrepreneurs who it's been Tough Tech Today. You can find it there, subscribe to their channel and find this video. This has to do with Arya, aka Nautilus Biotech, and at 11 to 10 looks to be a great buying opportunity. Arya does not have a warrant, therefore anyone who wants Nautilus Biotech will need to buy NOT, aka Arya, at 11 to 10. Beijing, so I'm just showing to you that because biotech stocks are going up, indeed a lot of, I'm not familiar with this company, but I wanted you to see how bio stocks moves. Biotech stocks move 10x. This went from $25 to $350 or more than 10x in just a span of about 4 or 5 years. This means that if you're buying Arya and you think that Arya is going to do well in the genomic sequencing, in the life sciences, or cancer research, you might have to expect my $10 goes nothing or $100. That's the leeway that you should think when you're investing in these companies, because this topic is Awesome10X, the stocks that will rocket ship to the moon, stocks or warrants. Now, why is Beijing in the news? Beijing and Shoreline Biosciences are developing NK-based cell therapies. This is going up because cancer research is a top priority of the Biden administration. Beijing and Shoreline Biosciences announced an exclusive worldwide strategic collaboration commercializing a portfolio of NK-based cell therapeutics. The more news you read about it, the more you're seeing R&D funding go in towards SPACs, whether it's a phase trial or not. There will be collaboration, there will be volatility. I'm not saying that you will have no risk in these stocks, but for the risk of about 50% downside, usually these names are worth it, especially if they're bombed out. Well, for Beijing, it's not bombed out, but for SPACs that I've noticed, like biotech names at $10, what's the risk? Almost nothing. Okay, let's take a look. 10X Therapeutics, I talked about it because we are seeing already higher lows and higher highs. There was a gap up in 2021 from about 50 cents to $2. This could go to $3. As to why, I'm just talking about the chart. You can actually read more on 10X Therapeutics if this is interesting for you. But take a look at the biotech sector. I'm seeing money flow in the sector. A few things to discuss. Growth stocks have bottomed. I mentioned that about 2 to 3 weeks ago in the title of Awesome10X Free Friday class. Has the growth stocks bottomed? And so far, we said that it had. And we are still seeing not just the growth stocks, but even these names that Cathie Wood loves. Cathie Wood is known to own a lot of Spotify, Netflix of audio. Take a look at what's happening after a consolidation. It has been creeping up and now breaking 247, could go to 300. Not a big rocket to the moon, but 20% nonetheless in the short term. Also, take a look after 3 to 6 months of consolidation from March till June. At the first sign, we're seeing the first time that Zoom video is breaking 350. Why could it be happening? If there's a huge reopening, why is Zoom video going up? Spotify actually benefited when you were at home because you were listening to audio all day long, whether you're doing house chores, working, or so forth, doing your yoga meditation all day. So I think that the movement here is showing to me that the bull market is broadening, including growth stocks, because some people said, no, people are just buying reopening cyclical value plays. The answer is no. Take a look at the chart. These are all going up. 350, if this is correct, it goes to 400, 450. So strong growth names going up. Cathie Wood stocks going up means ARK Invest is going to go up. Bottoming out, yes. I'd like to say that growth stocks are truly shining. Take a look at what's happened in CrowdStrike. CrowdStrike has slumbered for the last 6 months. From November till June, this is the first time that I'm seeing that CrowdStrike is breaking $230. If my theory is right, that growth stocks have bottomed, this is going to hit all-time highs, so about $300. CrowdStrike, aka George Kurtz, has done nothing wrong in all the earnings fronts, even growing triple digits. So if you want to actually have a cybersecurity name and you don't have any, you want to get the best cloud-based cybersecurity name, and the answer is CrowdStrike. Because any dips since March was dropped here only at 180, higher low here on May at about 180. This was below 180. During May, it was a double test, a double bottom. I'd say this is ready to rumble to all-time highs, which means, guys, that I would be afraid for those who are underweight the US markets, because those who are not overweight the US market are gonna miss a melt up, guys. This is a melt up. My prediction, Cathie Wood is gonna be on a revenge move on the upside. And these are specific Cathie Wood stocks that are gonna go up. Now, Spring Valley, as I said, July is gonna be Aero Farms. Warrants is where I parked. I'm gonna see this go double in my view, from about 90 cents to $1.80. Now, Churchill Capital already went double. Arsha's acquisition, changed name. Take a look at those SPAC, also trying to double. From about 140, it's now 236, could go 280. My target is just double, but can go triple, quadruple, all right? Affirm Holdings, why am I sharing this to you? Not only are the growth stocks bottoming out, you also have the bombed out stocks indeed bottoming out, which means that everything, guys, is going up, which means that we are in a bullish market where everything is going up, most everything. Now, why is a firm going to go $90 or $80? Why is this a strong opportunity for you to buy? Affirm and Shopify expanded their merchants. We've been saying on and on again, actually since April, that $63, $65 was a buy. We added more and we averaged down here at about $50. In fact, 80 below is still a buying opportunity in our view, because this should benefit not only with more merchants adopting the buy now, pay later plan, it helps people actually afford vacations, weddings, and all of those vacations, whether it be Expedia, Airbnb, are all partnered already with a firm. So it's a reopening play and you're actually spending for a vacation or a wedding. It's also a buy now, pay later plan with many merchants. Is Shopify one of the biggest merchants? Yes, against Amazon, Shopify is the biggest anti-Amazon. And with Shopify working with a firm, it just makes sense for you to have a firm because that's the payment solution chosen by Shopify, not just Stripe. Shopify, of course, has many payment solutions. Stripe is not listed. Now, I'm going to share with you a few ideas. Some IPOs didn't get the love, which we argue is not true. It's going to be rocket ships to the moon. Agrify listed in the market at $10. At $10, it went to $20. This is an IPO. This is part of the food security solutions. From $10, it rallied to $20, quickly dropped to about 70% back to $7. So far, we think this 7 is going to go blast off 100% all the way to 14. Any dips of Agrify, especially below 10, is a buying opportunity, guys. We've been saying on and on and on that Agrify, we are a believer. This is, in my view, a long-term trend. A few things about Agrify, in case you're not aware. They're using AI technology and farming solutions to help address food security, which is expected to be 10 billion people by 2050. And with less land, we cannot actually use traditional farming methods. We're always inspired to invest in solutions, and Agrify is a solution. $10, it is cheaper than many SPACs out there, including SB, which is Aero Farms. Now, indeed, Aero Farms is the leader, that's why it's expensive. So we like the three of them. Agrify, AppHarvest, and SB. That's the truth. We like all of them. But in terms of a cheaper valuation, because this is like $100 million market cap, it tells me that, of course, this is a 10x name. $10 can go 20, 30, 40, $100. So you have to see that this is a rocket ship to the moon. Yes, an indoor farming company can 10x your wealth. There's a lot of ideas, and I hope to explain this all inside the Awesome10X Inner Circle. I hope you have a good day, and please go to SPAC Hero to check out on more warrants. They have a nice filter screen here. Filter price $1 below, $1 to $2, $2 to $4. The lower price, the better. And do your own due diligence. Thank you very much. Have a good day. Bye.